Hi everyone, this is Kona and welcome to week 3. So we're going to start by checking out the week 3 resources. I'll obviously update the video, but you've got your study resources, you've got your week 3 notes that will go along with them explained here. You also have another video on cross tabulations. This should be probably a really good video to help you understand and do well on the quiz, but both of these should help overall. You've got, make sure to check out this section 1.7 in your textbook, the misleading graph information for this week's discussion, and some joint frequency table. The book explanation is probably good enough, but in case you wanted more information, here's some extra stuff right there. The other really big thing is the introduction to Minitab. There are lots of videos, and this is kind of like the big Minitab week. So also a really good week that if you're not sure about Minitab, you might want to come to class this week. If you missed class, then please watch all of these videos and make sure you spend some time with them. So moving along, and so our first assignment is the discussion. This is on the misleading graphs. And so misleading graph is a statistical graph that's not drawn appropriately. It misrepresents data and can lead to false conclusions. So what you're going to be doing is going online, finding a recent and credible news article that has a graph. So credible per what we discussed last week that has a graph. Then in the discussion, you're going to post the name of the article, the website you found the graph, the link to the article, reference which graph you're referring to, and then ask 2 questions related to the graph. The questions you post should have to do with reading, understanding the graph, and don't make it too easy. Here's some websites that might help you find a graph, but ultimately you can find anything you want as long as the article is credible. Then your follow-up, answer 1 question of someone's, explaining how you came to your answer, state whether you think the graph is misleading and why, and do this for at least 2 people. And here's some information to help you figure out if a graph is misleading or not. And then the follow-up, once someone has replied, go back and let them know if they're correct or not. So there's your discussion. The next assignment is the Minitab Analysis. This is a pretty big assignment. So I'm not going to go into a huge amount of detail because I made a really long video where I go through and explain exactly what you need to do for this assignment. In fact, I think this is like a 25-minute video because I really do go through and explain this is what you need to do for the video. I will say that the data I'm using here is not the same data that you're using for this project. And that's just because it's an example and I want you to actually do the project yourself, right? Think about it, but hopefully it should be able to give you enough help and enough examples that you should do well on this. So there it is. Also, remember this Minitab Analysis project. This I'm going to give you feedback on, and then you will take this and this will turn into your final project or your final paper for project 1. So it is important if you want to do well on this. And then the last thing, well, other than the feedback exchange, is the Chapter 1, Quiz 3. And for this one, make sure to refer to the Week 3 resources that we already looked at there. And then entering answers. When answers are percentages, you can round your answer to 1 decimal, but do not type the percent sign. For example, if your answer is 29 or 12 over 39, you would first multiply that by 100, and then with 1 decimal, that rounds to 30.8. If you're worried about the rounding, you can just type 30.76 or 30.769 or whatever Canvas will round for you. So basically, just be aware of this and make sure to think about it. So this quiz is worth 10 points. You do get 5 attempts. Oh, and I need to change that. It's not the average, it is the highest score. So I'll change that, don't worry. And then the last thing is just this feedback exchange. It's been really valuable for me to get your feedback, so please take this seriously, and I really appreciate it. Thank you. And let's have a great week.